Texas is home to roughly 900 spider species. That is more spiders than days in 2.5 years. But the state health department flags only 2 groups as medically significant. 2 out of 900. So if you have been terrified of every web you have walked through, you have been blaming the wrong suspects. Stay tuned, because today we rank every spider in Texas that can actually hurt you, plus the famous ones that do not deserve the blame. Before we start ranking, let us kill one rumor. You may have heard about the red widow, Latrodectus bishopi. It is a real species, but it is not a Texan. Every red widow on Earth lives in Florida's sandpine scrub, a habitat that simply does not exist here. So if you see a claim of a red widow sighting in Texas, it is a misidentification, often from a photo posted on a bug identification app. What they actually saw was almost certainly a southern black widow or a juvenile brown widow. Both carry the same red hourglass warning, but neither is the red widow. Now that the myth is gone, let us meet the spiders that actually earn their place on this list. Before we get to the spiders that deserve your caution, we need to clear the names of 3 that absolutely do not. Start with the Texas brown tarantula, the largest spider you will meet here. It can span a dinner plate, and yes, it has fangs big enough to break skin. Those fangs are almost never the problem. A threatened tarantula brushes urticating hairs off its abdomen into the air, and those tiny barbs cause the itching and burning. A defensive bite feels like a bee sting and nothing more. Then there are the wolf spiders and huntsman spiders, the sprinters of the Texas floor and walls. They chase prey down instead of building webs, and their speed makes them look terrifying. Wolf spiders even carry their egg sacs behind them, which makes the females look twice as big. Huntsman spiders are the ones you find behind wall art and under car sun visors. A bite happens only when you roll onto one or trap it against your skin, and the result is local pain and swelling that clears up on its own. Neither species produces venom that threatens human tissue or nerves. None of these 3 belong on any medically significant list. Big, fast, and hairy does not equal dangerous. The spiders that actually earned a spot on this list are smaller, quieter, and far easier to overlook. Before you call a spider a black widow, take a second look. The false widow, or Steatota, wears the same glossy black outfit, but it skipped the warning label. True widows carry that unmistakable red hourglass on the underside of the abdomen. False widows do not. Instead, they show a lighter pattern, sometimes a pale band across the front, sometimes a row of faint marks, and sometimes nothing obvious at a glance. This mix-up happens constantly in garages, sheds, and under patio furniture across Texas. Here is the part that matters. A false widow bite is mild. You get local pain and swelling, maybe a little redness that fades within a day or 2, and no medical attention is needed. The venom simply does not have the nerve toxins that make true widow bites dangerous. So the takeaway is simple. No hourglass means no emergency. You are looking at an imposter that would rather run than bite. Now meet a real widow that often gets mistaken for the imposter. The brown widow wears the same family crest, the hourglass, but everything else is different. Instead of glossy black, she is tan or brown, and her hourglass leans more orange than red. She also carries a distinctive geometric pattern on her abdomen, which is why scientists named her Latrodectus geometricus. Here is the twist. Drop for drop, her venom is just as potent as a black widow's. But she injects such a tiny amount that a bite usually stays local. Some pain, some swelling, and that is about it. Compare that to a black widow bite, which can bring muscle cramps and a trip to the hospital. The brown widow's bite rarely rises beyond a nuisance. It does not mean she stays away from us. Brown widows are an introduced species in Texas, and they are drawn to human structures, under railings, inside planters, around outdoor furniture. Yet they would rather retreat than fight. So if you spot one, there is no need for panic. Give her space, and she will do the same for you. But in Texas, there is another widow that truly lives up to the name. The southern black widow, Latrodectus mactans, is the spider that built the legend, and she is not alone. Her cousins, the western and northern black widows, share the state with her. All 3 wear the same uniform, a glossy black body with a red hourglass on the underside. Flip her over, and there is no mistaking her for the brown widow. The legend is not about looks, though. Her venom is packed with a neurotoxin called latrotoxin, and it attacks the nervous system directly. Instead of staying local like the brown widow's bite, it floods the body, forcing muscles to contract in painful waves. A bite can trigger severe cramping, abdominal rigidity, and heavy sweating. Victims often describe it as one of the most painful experiences of their lives, sometimes mistaken for a heart attack or appendicitis. Before you panic, hear this. Bites are rare, and deaths are extremely rare. An anti-venom exists, and it works. With prompt medical care, full recovery is the norm. But because symptoms can escalate quickly, a bite is a genuine medical emergency, the kind that lands you in a hospital for a day or 2. So respect the black widow. She does not hunt you, she bites only in self-defense, usually when you accidentally press against her web. Check dark corners, gloves, and outdoor shoes before reaching in. Learn that hourglass, and you can share Texas with her, from a safe distance. The spider that worries Texas doctors most does not wear a red hourglass. It wears a violin on its back, sometimes. The recluse family takes the #1 spot, and Texas is home to 3 of them. The brown recluse dominates the north and east, the Texas recluse claims the south, and the Big Bend recluse owns the west. Different regions, same family, same tissue-destroying venom. Here's where the famous identification advice falls apart. The violin marking, the dark shape on the back that everyone looks for, is simply not reliable. The Texas recluse often has no visible violin at all, so the classic rule fails. Instead, trust geography. A brown spider in a dark corner of El Paso is not the same species as one in Houston, but both belong to the recluse family, and both deserve the same caution. Now the honest part about the bite. Yes, recluse venom can cause necrotic lesions, the dying tissue that makes headlines, but most bites heal without significant damage. Severe tissue loss is the exception. There is no antivenom, which sounds really scary until you remember the spider's real nature. Recluses are not aggressive. They bite when you press them against your skin, when you roll over one in bed, or slide your foot into a boot they claimed overnight. So the final word on Texas venomous spiders: the widow owns the web, the recluse owns the shadows. Both demand respect, and neither wants a fight. Now tell me in the comments, which one would you rather find hiding in your garage? Thanks for watching. Here is the verdict. Only 2 families actually send Texans to the hospital. The recluse at #1, the widow at #2, and the brown widow is a distant third. Tarantulas and wolf spiders get blamed, but they do not matter. Now, comment which state we should cover next, and subscribe so you catch episode 1 of the series.